What's up guys, Dan with Ninjacators here. In this video, I'm going to cover assessing market structure and how to do a top-down multi-time frame analysis on your favorite security. We're going to cover the NASDAQ futures contract today, the day before the CPI and FOMC to get you set up for tomorrow's trading session. But before I do that, be sure to check out Fast Track from Ninjacators, your one-stop trading shop. Live trade rooms, funding, Discord, and software all in one stop. Click on the link in the video description below to become a member today. Okay, so let's dive into the NASDAQ. What we have is the current contract, June of 2024. We've got on the daily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start from a weekly perspective. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and give myself that broader context. And just take note that we had a 2023 rally, a pullback towards the tail end of the year, followed by another rally this year. So far, we had that April sell-off, we had that May recovery, and now we're into June, where we are breaking in just above last week's high. There's nothing you really need to do on this chart other than to just give yourself that broader perspective. So now we're going to dial down into the daily chart. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look for a few things. We're going to look for inefficiencies, imbalances, which would be this candle right here. You see this high right here and the low right here. You see this big buy side candle, this big expansion day up that has this big gap in between here. These are excellent trade locations, and you're going to want to mark those down on the daily as a gap. So as price comes back around with some heavy momentum to break down and below here, a likely target is right through here to the downside, as it has not been filled. It's only been filled about a quarter of the way so far as we've come back through on the sell side. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to look for, are these little imbalances. This one here has been filled over here, and the only other one that is somewhat relevant, not that one, that one's fairly filled. This one right here, all the way down here at just about 17,750 to 17,981. Okay, and the other thing we're going to do is we're going to mark off some swing lows and swing highs. So the obvious ones, you just want to take those out right away. We got this swing low right there we just added. We got this swing high right here. And then right now, the all-time highs are kind of at a moving target since we're like at them right now. So for the time being, we'll mark off the current all-time high. And I mark that off in hot pink just so I know what it is when price gets there. And you just kind of work all the way down the chain here. As you start to get lower and lower, you get a little bit less and less relevant. So you kind of want to stay within that impactful range. On a daily basis, you're talking 241 points of movement on average for the last 14 days. So just keep that in mind as you work through here. About 241 points to the upside, to the downside is really all you need. So let's see, we've got this swing high series, a couple of highs right there. We'll mark off. That's been respected. There's a launching point for there. Okay, and that really kind of covers it on the daily. We can also go in here and put some psychological levels, which I mark off in purple. And I really only do the round thousands on the NASDAQ and the 500s, because those tend to be price magnets. So we'll put those on there as well. Just the relevant ones. We don't need to mark every last one of them off. 18. And we'll true that up as we get down the line here. And then we're going to go to 18.5 is that next one down, which is right about here. And we'll do one more. We'll do that round 18,000, which is right about at the top side of this imbalance right here. Okay, so now we have our swing lows. We've got our swing highs. We're covered. Didn't put one down here, but we can do it, but it's not really relevant at this moment in time. time. And we got this big session right through here. Okay. All right, perfect. So that is going to do it on the daily. And now we're going to move down to a 30-minute volume profile chart. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at a more intricate level, a more intricate look at levels from this perspective. So the first thing you're going to notice is that since we're operating at nearly all-time highs, we don't have many upside levels to work with. So we want to go ahead and add a few of those, and we're going to use a tool called a Fibonacci extension to do so. All right, so you're going to take that nearest swing low, and we'll use this one right here, and we'll just kind of see how this looks. This little swing low right here, and we're going to go all the way up to this swing high, which is the high point of that range, and then we're going to pull that all the way back to the nearest swing low from this morning's overnight low. You can see how these kind of line up. The value area high here tends to line up right there. We got that all-time high at 38. So now we got some levels here that we can work with to the upside from just marking off that Fibonacci extension. And I marked the fib extensions off in a spring green again, so I know what they are when price gets there. We'll mark off that 61. We'll mark off that 76, and then we'll even go ahead and mark off this high one here. And we're going to leave that 500 on there, that 19,500. That's a good psychological level to the upside. Okay, so now we've got some upside targets. We can clean this up. We can get rid of our extension. Just know that it was from about this 18.5 to yesterday's swing high and then to this morning's swing low. Okay, or that pullback, that little micro pullback. That's really what you're measuring on here. All right, and so now I also want to notate I want to notate the value areas from yesterday, and I want to know the open value areas, the untested value areas and POCs. Well, we are in this little cluster right now where we had this big expansion last week. I believe that was last week, Thursday, with this big expansion day up where value shifted way up. You can see value was down here, shifted way up here, and now we've been stuck in this essential block here, this big 1, 2, 3, call it 4-day, where we just broke out of that here earlier, a couple hours ago. So we've been stuck in here. So the value area from yesterday was essentially today's value area, and it was essentially yesterday's value area, and it was the day before's, and it was the value area high up here. So we don't necessarily need to mark all of that off into a zone. Normally I'll mark that off into a zone, but you don't really need to right now since we're in this cluster. So just know that this value area high that you're going to want to mark right there, and I mark these off in white just so I know. And then we also have this relevant value area low from last week that's untested way down here. We have not come back down and test this. So tomorrow, if we get an unfavorable CPI report or unfavorable Fed commentary on rate increases or decreases or whatever the sentiment perhaps could shift to tomorrow, if we come back down through here, this could be an excellent target to fill this untested value area that's just below this block right here. You see how that works? You want to notate this right in here, okay? And then you have that daily gap low right through there, and then you've got another untested value area and POC right through here. And again, I marked these in white, and I'll go ahead and do that here. So again, I know what that zone is when price gets there. I have a template for it. Okay. All right, so there's your untested value area. Here's your untested POC at 18, what is that? 18,629. And I'm gonna mark this off in cyan. Okay. And then you want to mark off this little swing low right here as it's relevant as well. So that little swing low, I must have missed that one on the daily, but it's there on the 30. Okay, so now you've got some levels to the upside. You've got some levels to work with the upside of current price, the downside of current price. You've got this big gap right through here. That 19,000, you're going to run into some cluster right there. Okay, so now we've got all that set. The POCs within here, I don't know that we're really going to do anything with them because it's all, there's just so much congestion within this 19,118 down to 19,000. So in this 120 point range, call it, right in here, there's just a ton of congestion. Now, one thing you're going to want to do moving forward is you'll want to put the daily POC on, and you want to carry that forward once market closes. And again, I marked those off in cyan. And all you're doing is, again, from the daily, you're marking off swing lows, swing highs, any kind of relevant structure, the imbalances, the daily imbalances, and then on the 30, you're gonna essentially zoom in on the value areas. And you're gonna want to notate those value areas, because when price re-enters this value area from here, you're gonna want to know that, because then you can play this whole entire value area retrace down to this low right here. And we'll mark this swing low off as well. And that is assessing the structure. You have this big shelf right here of value being built on the week, right? Okay, so now we're going to dip down to a 10-minute and just kind of refine this further. Go from a daily, actually we go from a weekly to a daily to a 30-minute volume profile to down to a 10-minute profile, okay? And so you're also, just notate on that 10-minute, you're gonna wanna carry forward these POCs. This is where the most volume on the day went off, and it becomes a price magnet. So as we move into the next trading day, you can see how price oscillates and respects that POC throughout the day, and can tend to be a breakdown point. It can be a launching point. As price breaks through, pulls back, so on and so forth. You're going to want to notate those little price nodes like this one right here, okay? All right, there's not much left on here. We'll let the day settle up at the close of market today in about an hour. We got about an hour left of market action on here. We've got some, again, targets to play for tomorrow to the upside, all the way up about 285 points to the upside. And then we've got a whole series of targets to the downside if that thing moves on us to the downside, okay? And there you have it, a full top-down multi-time frame analysis on the NASDAQ to set you up for an explosive FOMC and CPI trading day incoming tomorrow. From this analysis, you can clearly see we're bullish on both the macro and micro perspectives. For more videos like this, be sure to click on the link in the description below, and be sure to check out Fast Track for your one-stop trading headquarters. Live trade rooms, funding, Discord, and software, again, all in one spot. Become a member by clicking the video link below.